Hello, everyone. Today we'll talk about the economic concept, the basics of economic concepts as the case might be. So let us proceed. Now, what are the key assumptions? Key assumptions are scarcity of any goods that is in demand, and that is what the key economic assumption would be. Next would be that all of us are logical thinkers, are rational, are probably are self-interested, and we, as a logical individual, would like to maximize the utility or of a utility of anything, be it time, effort, money, and those are what makes us happy. So people generally make a decision at a margin. Remember, I have used the word called scarcity, and then I'm looking at maximizing our effort, time, and probably money, the utility of my time, utility of my effort, utility of my money. So maximizing the outputs thereby. So we all weigh the marginal benefit against the marginal cost of a decision. What does ceteris paribus assumption is economics hold other factors, every other factor is constant, except for what has been limited in altogether. Let's say what are the factors that are in constant? We say money are limited, land is limited, mm, the year is limited, everything which is naturally provided by the nature is all in limited supply. But our demand is unlimited, our need is unlimited, our requirement is unsatisfactory. So that is what we look around it. So basic vocabulary of economics, it is the study of the choices that makes people happy, that makes sure that they are able to satisfy their wants, their requirements, their desirability, their needs. Microeconomics is the study of how actual every individual or every firm deal with this sort of scarcity and how do they maximize their outputs. Macroeconomics with the whole scale, the whole study of the whole society that deals with scarcity thereby. Now we have goods, the physical objects that needs to be purchased. The goods can be anything. It can be the laptop that you are accessing this video from, or the mobile or the Android devices that you are accessing it. That's a goods for you, right? Everything is a good. It's a physical object that can be purchased, touched, felt, seen. Then comes the services, actions or activities that are performed for a fee. Is that what we are looking as service factors are? Consumers are you and me, people who purchases goods and services. Now, producers are the people who actually manufactures those goods, actually who are delivering you the services. So they are the producers and probably they are supplying it out also. So what are the four assumptions that we are looking at? We are looking at goods, services, consumers, and producers per se. Needs, necessities for survival. Definitely, yes. Without which, probably we extinguish, probably which we cannot able to make it a living altogether. It's a basic necessity. Let's say the basic necessity is your Android devices or your laptop through which you are accessing this video. Had it not been present out there, would you be able to see it? Probably, but then you would have to go to your friend's house, or probably you have to rent out somewhere there's in a cyber cafe to watch this video. Now, needs is basic thing, basic requirement without which you just cannot be able to watch this video. Wants, goods and services consumes beyond what is necessary for survival. Now, this is something which you are looking at into it. Now, what are my wants? Probably you are, since I'm, let me continue with the same example of this particular video. Now, you must be watching this video, and definitely the wants would be, can we have similar video somewhere else, similar material somewhere else, similar content somewhere? What are you trying to do? Have a holistic consumptions view, a holistic view of what are different authors, different producers, different uh, management gurus might have said or economists might have said about economics. Now, this will give you an in-depth knowledge of economics, and that is your wants. What is your need? Need is this particular video, probably a study material that will be provided, and you go through it, give the exam, you clear the exam. But what is your wants? You want to have a thorough knowledge, and in that case, the need requires multiplies altogether. Resources, the factors of production. Economists classify into four categories. Now, what are the first two? Now, remember, these are all scarce categories. Limited. Land is limited. On our planet, land is limited. Population is multiplying day by day. land is one of those natural resources. The payment of land can be termed as a rent. Similarly, labor, again, human resources, is there available, but what is the quality of human resources? Can anybody work beyond 24 hours in a day? Probably not. So we are looking into it. So labor, land, labor is all you and me. The payment for which the labor is wages thereby. Then comes capital. Again, another scarce resources. Not everybody has all the capital of the world, right? Neither I am too rich nor you are too rich. Even the richest person in the world is looking for making more profits. What are we looking into it? So capital is a product of an investment. It's a tool, it's a machine, it's a factories. You people are investing in your educations. The payment of this capital is interest, as simple as it. So everything has a cost. Land has a rent, capital has an interest, labor has a wage, and entrepreneur or a business person would be having a profit. So risk taking producer, remember I said about goods, I said about services, I said about consumer, I said about producers. Entrepreneurs are the risk taking producing a profitable combination of land, labor, and capital, man, money, and materials in new ways to order to make profit. The payment of entrepreneurship is profit. The scarcity economic is the study of limited resources with unlimited needs and want. Can we try to make a balance around it? And that is what economics is all about. It scarcity is asking you to make particular choices: one choice, two choice, three choice, four choice, five choice, and best of the choices. Trade-offs are faced when it comes to using available resources. Opportunity cost is what is sacrificed when one choice has been made over the next best alternative. Every decision, remember, every decision has an opportunity cost. Scarcity, marginal decision making is equal to the result of an additional change. Marginal benefit versus marginal cost is the basis for making every decision. What how can we maximize the satisfaction? Example, one more hour of sleep versus eating breakfast. So if I am asleep, probably I miss my breakfast. So you have a you are in a situation which needs to satisfy. Which one do you want to satisfy? Your 1 hour of extra sleep or probably a tummy full of breakfast? Part-time jobs versus goofing around, probably loitering around. People are actually watching this video. They are very serious. Every audiences of this particular video is very serious with their life, with their career, and they have a plan for themselves. So we have part-time jobs versus goofing up. Colleges versus full-time job. Either I earn or I make prepare myself to earn in future. Eventually, I want to earn. So what should I do? As in the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, one of the resources, once a resource or factor of production has been put to productive use, an opportunity cost is incurred, and this is very important. Opportunity cost is the next best alternative for a resource. For example, if 3 cups of flour are used to bake breads, then the opportunity cost is the cake that could have been baked with also 3 cups of flour. So you can either have a cake or you can have a bread. Now, the cake or the bread, these two are the opportunity cost. No matter what do we do with our time, constant it remains as the case might be. So, what is it? TNSTAAFL. What is it? Something that I keep on saying, and I want to establish it again. There is no such thing as a free lunch. TINSATAAL. There is no such thing in this world. Believe me, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Everything has a cost. Even if your friend is treating to you a cup of tea or probably a bottle of beer, I'm sure he's expecting the same thing in return in due process of time. And if you don't do it, believe me, your relationship is not going to be remaining as strong as it is. So there's nothing called free lunch in this world altogether. So what are we looking out here? See, if you plot the goods on your y-axis and the consumer goods as the consumption pattern on the x-axis, now what are we looking into it? This is my curve, right? As the price goes down, probably the consumption increases. But as the prices is up, it remains a capital good. Only few people consumes. So what is it? We are looking to pinpoint point A. Why? Because point A is where the producers and the consumers are willing to pay the price, and they are making to the consumers are willing to pay a price, and the producers are making a decent profit at this point. So as the price increase, as the price decreases, the consumption increases, the quantity increases. But at this point, the producer is also making profit, and the consumption is also okay with it. What are we looking into it? What are This is my uh, best equity, right? This is my equilibrium point where everybody is satisfied, both the producers and the consumer. But what happened if this is the point where the consumer is actually making have n numbers of consumption, but probably they are not willing to pay the price of the cost that needs to be produced, that is needed to be produced. This point again is not possible. Why? Because the producer will not be producing the goods, simply because of the fact that in case he or she satisfies the consumer but remains empty handed, is not been able to take profit. Again, this is not possible. Similarly, another possibility is the capital goods. The producers are willing to produce, but the consumptions or the consumers are not willing to consume. So within the profitability, the goods are not acceptable in the very first place. That is what needs to be understood. What am I trying to establish as the point of economics? This is the point where economics functions thoroughly. At this point Y, the producers are going to incur losses, so they will not be able to produce it. At point X, the consumers are not interested in the product, despite the fact that the producers are able to produce it altogether. So it's an obsolete product. Look at your Android devices. Look at your laptop. Any one of you are using an analog phone? Probably not. Because if you are using an analog phone, you will not be able to access this video or probably surf the net. So that is what we are looking into. This termed as an analog phone. This termed as your Android devices. This might be a high-end mobile, probably pricey mobiles, and so on and so forth. So capitalism is a market economy. Ownership of all resources is in the hands of the individual. Decision making is by individual in the markets. Voluntary exchange of goods and services. Self-interest influences all decisions to the benefit of the society. Competition is the regulating mechanism. Regulating mechanism. If we have a number of competitors, if we have a number of producers who are producing the same goods, probably they are going to offer the best prices to the consumer to accumulate or to occupy a market size. And that is what we are looking as in a market capital economy. So ownership at every individual's level, decision at every individual level, voluntary exchange, there are no forcibility being done, self-interest influences all decisions to benefit the society, and competition is the regulating mechanism. Now, for market economy, markets and prices coordinate the millions of decisions. And what there are n numbers of decisions. It is not only the price, it is not only the quality, it is not only the quantity that we are looking into it. What about affordability? What about location or availability of the product? What about the packaging? So there are n numbers of decisions. System is facilitated by specialization, use of money, technology, and probably government interventions. That is what needs to be done. You look at pharmaceutical ingredient, if the government doesn't intervene, probably the price can be skyrocketing. What will happen to the common person, the poorest of poor man? Will he or she be able to access the medicine? Probably not. So intervention is required at times. So yes, system is facilitated by specialization, the utility of value, technology, active and limited, but limited government involvement as the intervention is concerned. So basic question that you should ask, I should ask, we should try to answer together what is the goods and the service to produce as it producers, so that neither the consumer feels cheated nor the producers feel sorry to produce it. So what needs to be done? How to produce it? How much to produce it? Remember the point X, point Y. In point Y, the producers are making losses. In point X, the consumers are not interested. It is point A where everybody is needs is satisfied. How much to produce, for whom to produce, and how will changes be implemented? If you can answer these basic five questions, you are answering everything about your economics. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.